Primal Chaos. Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Gonna take a bit of a gamble on this one. I know this actually is probably a quite successful video globally, but I'm not sure how many of my audience have probably heard of it or seen it. I may be way off base there. Maybe you guys all know about this already, and I'm like the last one, which it wouldn't surprise me at all. But this is one of those ones that may be of interest to anybody who is a fan of like Angelina Jordan or is interested in like particularly talented younger artists, Aurora fans, things like that, because this one features a young performer who, again, is just like stunningly able, you know, like she's highly competent. I don't know too much about it because I only got shown a few seconds of it the other day, and I said, stop, I want to react to this, and I want to react to this with my viewers to make sure that like we all experience this together, because it seemed really, really interesting and a little bit unusual and different for the channel, which is kind of cool as well. Now, the way I understand it is you're gonna have to bear with it because the song, I think it's somewhere around 6 minutes long, and the younger performer comes in about halfway through. So don't feel like I've steered you the wrong way. It's coming, but like even like we skipped through it a little bit, and it seems like the music is really engaging. It's a blend of sort of modern instruments and traditional, I guess, Indian or Pakistani instruments. Again, please bear with me. This is well outside my realm of understanding and experience. So there's a lot I'm not going to be able to really contextualize for you on this one because I'm not sort of really adept at understanding this style of music. But it sounded really engaging and interesting, even from a Western perspective. So check it out for sure. But just remember that about halfway through, we're going to see, again, an amazing younger performer. So yeah, let's check it out. You know, as from the perspective of the channel where, you know, recently we've done sort of like your Angelina Jordans and stuff like that. I just thought this might be another one to sort of see how this goes and tack it on and see if it interests people, because it's definitely something unusual, at least from my perspective. So probably not so much for 2/3 of the rest of the world. Here we go. This is Bolhu, Soch the band, featuring Hadiya Hashmi. Okay, so here we go.
Basement, Season 5. Jagna to padega.
See, I love that blend of like ethnic and modern instruments. It always fascinates me how they can just sort of get them, or like you take an artist from a different culture and you hand them a Western instrument and they create magic with it, right? The bass tone is amazing. How about that groove? Wow. Oh yeah, there she's up the back. Okay, cool. Actually, that guitar tone is really nice too. It's actually a great mix. It almost sounds like an album track, you know? Cry drums. Wow. I'd love to know what the keyboard, like it's like a little accordion, piano accordion style instrument. It's really interesting. Nice. Oh, wow. You close your eyes, it's just so visceral. You can just picture like landscapes, you know? That's awesome. Super cool. Very cool. Wow. All right, stick around after the break. I got to get my thoughts together. That was that was really cool. I'm so glad I did this. Hey guys, today's video is brought to you in part by Skillshare. Now, anyone who knows me will tell you that I have way too many interests and hobbies. I'm also what's known as an autodidact, which means I'm largely self-taught, but my interests vary wildly amongst an entire gamut of disciplines. Disciplines ranging from things like music production, composition, video production, YouTube content creation, 3D printing, 3D modeling, electronics, woodworking, drawing, painting, graphic design, computers and code. The list just goes on and on. And in order to become proficient in all of these disciplines, it's taken me a lifetime of skills gathered piecemeal here, there, and everywhere. By and large, it just takes so long to develop a skill level in any of those individual things. But it ain't the old days anymore. And today we've got services like Skillshare, a service that provides you with near limitless amounts of information for one small subscription fee. Seriously, all of their curated learning modules and lessons and classes, they're all available at your fingertips. What if you're a graphic designer and then one day you just need to learn something very specific in the world of spreadsheets? Your Skillshare account has you covered. And the courses are all curated, meaning that there's a standard level of competency required for anyone to be teaching a course. And the best part about all this is Skillshare offers free trials. So all you need to do is click the link in the description. It'll take you to their site and you can start learning right now. Or, wait till after my video. But either way, look, Skillshare. Wow. The beauty of doing this channel is to be able to uncover things like this that I never would have bumped into in my musical journey, which, to be honest with you, before I started this channel, I felt like my musical journey was kind of coming towards an end, where I felt like I'd heard everything that would be interesting to me, and there wasn't much left to sort of forage through to find any sort of pieces of gold, if that makes sense. And boy, am I wrong. Boy, was I so wrong about that. Honestly, my only hope is that on this journey, the people who sort of are following my videos closely, if I can impart anything on you guys, it's that there's so much out there that you can connect with that you don't even know exists. And this is the kind of thing, this song sounds, my first impression for me, because my only real experience with music from this part of this sort of region is in, you hear stuff like this as soundtracks to movies, that where it's, set in India or, to a degree, things where they've set something in the Middle East and they've got these sort of ethnic rhythmic sort of pieces, usually with a high wailing voice over the top, singing in quarter tones and stuff like that. So it sounds, to Western ears, it sounds very exotic and unusual because, we're used to the C major scale, which is an equal temperament sort of, that sort of thing. Whereas, in a lot of ethnic cultures, they don't adhere to those sort of, semitone sort of things. They'll often have, I wouldn't even know how to begin to express those sort of things, which is how you can get those sort of unusual sort of licks and motifs and stuff like that, because they hear music differently to those of us in the West, and which is cool because it has that benefit for us of sounding unusual and engaging and stuff, because unless sometimes it can be a little bit too much, and you'll hear stuff and you're like, whoa, that's there's too much chaos going on for me to sort of quantify it from the musical perspective of our sort of basic Western ears. But in this case, this is kind of like a bit of a cultural mishmash of the two, because there's a lot of elements in there that sort of sound like Western music. And then you've got, whatever cultural sort of things brought forward into the modern age with ethnic instruments and things like that. And also obviously the language and the melody lines and things like that. They all sort of fall into that sort of, it's like a collaboration between two worlds, if that makes sense. But, what a great groove. That's one thing that always translates. If you're hearing something and it's making you go like this, then half the work is done, if you're feeling that sort of, that bounce or that sort of thing. That's why I like Bloodywood as well, that song that I reacted to a while back. It just made me want to sort of just groove to it, because those rhythms are just so intricate and interesting, but there's always that pulse that sort of just gets you moving, And it's the same thing here. Obviously the band is fantastic. I think that they're amazing. Everybody, you could see it in their faces. Everybody knew that this was a very important performance where everything's going to be audible. Like when you play on stage through a PA, you can get away with the odd mistake and stuff like that, because just the sheer amount of noise coming out of the speakers masks a lot of indiscretions, if that makes sense. Whereas in this case, this is a high fidelity recording. You can hear every single nuanced note. And you can see the focus on the musicians' faces a lot of times, where they were just making sure they're only playing what's necessary, nothing more, nothing less. and it just came off as just this pristine, stunning performance. Now let's talk about Hadiya Hashmi. I'm assuming that's her name. What an incredible young talent. You know, I see a lot of parallels between her and Angelina in that you got this kid. I've no idea how old she is. I'm going to assume she's like maybe 8 or 9, 7 or 8 or 9. I don't know kids that well. I don't have any, so I'm not super experienced with children. But she just seems to embody the music in a way that's like doesn't seem like she's just putting on a show pretending to understand. Like, you know, when you're around adult performers and adults, when you get really good at performing, you find these ways of channeling the music through you rather than just like singing the notes and the words, right? And when you can really get introspective and you can feel, you know, the song flow through you, it has a certain appearance. You look a certain way. You're always like, you know, you close your eyes or you move a certain way. Like on guitar, I find it really hard to stand still when I'm playing guitar because the music, in order to get the rhythm and the timing, I have to sort of groove to it and feel it, you know. And, you know, so you can imagine if a child grows up around adult musicians, they might learn to ape that they might not feel the music, but they know what feeling the music looks like, so they can put on a performance that looks like that. I don't think that's the case here. I think that she genuinely, she gets it. She's sort of producing not only the sound, but also the heart of the music as well. And you can see it in her faces, and she's fearless. Like the way that she just leaps up to those high notes, as though they're always meant to be there, right? She's just the one painting the numbers on the paint by numbers thing. It's like there's just that confidence there, and it's really unusual to see. I feel like this young lady's probably done quite a lot of performances throughout her life already. She seems very adept and experienced, but it's funny how just the entire vibe of the song shifts. It's almost like it takes it up a gear when you hear this female voice cut in for like, it's kind of like the third part of the song, I'd imagine. Like if you think of it like acts, it's like the third act, we're going to cut down to a middle eight and then bring in this female voice to sort of, you know, add contrast to what we've heard so far. And I love that she goes on this sort of journey of like what seems like ad-libbed sort of melodies, and then they bring it back together into another chorus. And it just sort of, it just ties everything up in a neat little bow, and then she doubles his vocal in the outro and everything like that. It's beautifully produced. It's an amazingly produced piece of music. That would be like, I can imagine this being from a movie soundtrack or something and then performing this at the Oscars, you know, because it's such a stellar piece of music. Man, this was fascinating. This was really cool. I'm going to have to see if I can find some more stuff that's, you know, left of center for this channel, you know, and you know, I mean, I do that. There is no center in this channel anymore. It used to be metal, and then it evolved into this melange of just intense, different influences. And to be honest with you, I got no regrets. I'm stoked that that's the way this has turned out. I do sometimes feel a bit bad that I don't get back to metal enough, and I'm probably after I do this, I'll jump back in and find something quite extreme or heavy to do, because I miss that as well. But there's just so many fascinating genres of music and fascinating performances out there that I really want to get to. And every time I do, it brings in a whole bunch of new people into the community, which is what I'm all about. I really want to share this musical journey with as many people as possible. And if I can influence them to go on their own musical explorations and find things that are outside their comfort zone, then it's a win for me. That's what I'm here for. Anyone who knows me knows that my sole position on earth as an artist, because I draw and paint and stuff as well, is more so to encourage other people to do it. I'm always ringing up my friends going, when was the last time you drew something? Get onto it, you know, things like that. And it's the same with music. I like to inspire people to either create music or to find something that brings them joy. You know, that's at the end of the day, that's what music does. If you feel it, doesn't matter. I said this in a comment the other day to somebody. Doesn't matter if you're the only fan in the world of a certain band. if the music makes you feel a certain way that you like, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what instruments they're playing. It doesn't matter, what songs they're playing. It doesn't matter if the lyrics connect to you. If you feel joy when you hear them, it doesn't matter if it's only you. It doesn't matter, Find something that brings you joy, and be unashamedly like connected to that stuff. That's where you find happiness, is in those niches. So wow, thanks again, guys, for checking in. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you. Really hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. I thought it was very, very interesting. And if you feel like I've brightened your day at all, feel free to support the channel just by buying me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description, or you can just hit the thanks button below the video. It's a new feature that YouTube has. You can donate to creators directly via that way. And also, like, share, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Be doing plenty more of this sort of stuff. So I'd love to see you guys in the comments. Hit me up, give me suggestions and stuff like that. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate all of you. Stay primal, and I'll catch you on the next one.